This is the University of Washington's organic farm, and I'm a student who just volunteered for a whole quarter.
If you're a UW student or a Seattle community member, this video is made for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about volunteering at the UW farm, what I learned from it, and my experience. And stick to the end if you want to find out the hardest challenges the UW farm goes through. But first, let me tell you why I'm making this video. Earlier this year, I went on a study abroad to Ecuador and I learned about agroecological farming and sustainable farming. And it was a monumental point in my life. And like many of you, I'm fascinated by the wonders of nature and I want to learn more. If you want to see what that experience was like, click this video. Moving forward, I'm going to explain the structure, the people, and then my experience. In spring, the UW farm had volunteer shifts 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The two shifts I attended most were the Monday-Friday shifts. On Mondays, we're at Mercer Court, a dorm complex on West Campus, and Fridays at the Center of Urban Horticulture, northeast of the Alaska Airlines Stadium. Fun fact for you, the UW farm used to be a dump site. It's called the Montlake Landfill, but now it's a certified organic farm. Now back to what it was like. The shifts are usually enjoyable. We start out in a circle doing introductions, and then the production manager will tell us what tasks we have for the day. Depending on what farm site we're at and the time of year, it can look a little different. Keep on watching to find out what I learned. But first, let's talk about who runs the farm. The manager of the farm is Perry and the production manager is Ashling. If you want to know a little bit more about their backstories, watch this video here. I did an interview with them. But to put it simply, these are the only two full-time paid positions at the UW farm. The rest of the workers are interns, work study, and student volunteers who want credit. And then there's also community members and students who just want to do it for fun. What I learned from Ashling, aka the production manager, in our interview, she said that she really enjoys her job. She gets to see her interns grow and become confident in leading people how to farm. And this is a super important function of the farm as it relies on volunteers coming back. That being said, Ashling is a great leader and very impressive at communicating what to do and why we do it. She is also a UW alumni and not too long ago was in the same volunteering position. This made it easy to relate with her. Since this is an educational demonstrational farm, there are new volunteers showing up every year. And it's really important to be teaching all the time, even though it gets repetitive. And Perry does an exceptional job at this. She holds the high standards for the UW farm. But there is a cost though. She constantly has to be reminding the interns and the volunteers the standards of the farm. If she doesn't do this, the quality of the production would decrease dramatically. That being said, Perry has a crazy farm experience. Every time she speaks, I'm learning something new and she is just so knowledgeable in all things in the natural world. Moving on to talk about my experience. I loved it. And why I did is because it's a non-traditional learning environment. It's hands-on learning with low stakes, for the volunteer at least. You get to be surrounded by people who have deep knowledge in the natural world. One of the coolest utopian things is going to Mercer Court. Just looking at this photo makes me reimagine what a future can look like. If we can grow food on top of a parking garage, what else can we do? Why can't we bring more production of food inside a city? That's a world I want to live in. Now, let's get into what I learned starting with this Jang. A Jang is a Korean-made farming tool designed for small-scale farms. It saves a ton of time planting seeds as it furrows, dispenses, and covers the soil all at the same time. While there are many constraints to farming, labor and time are the most expensive. Tools like the Jang make everyone's lives easier. Part of the farm's revenue comes from floral arrangements for their customers. I had some time to practice arranging flowers to make a beautiful display. Some key tips I learned were 1. To just cut enough of the stem where the bottom is touching and none of the leaves are in the water. Number 2. Interweaving stabilizer plants to create a stronger hold. And 3. Lastly, adding some accents to your main flowers to give contrast. What interested me the most was the wash pack. This is the area where the UW's farm food gets packaged and cleaned for their customers. And there's a methodical system of how the farm approaches it. Since the farm is USDA certified organic, they have strict rules on how the food is washed, dried, and packaged. In my opinion, this is the most complex work I did on the farm. As someone who loves operations, it's fascinating learning the systems of their workflow. Now, let's get into some of the difficulties the UW farm experiences. After conversations with Perry and Ashling, they let me in on what kind of problems they manage. The number one problem being bureaucracy. The UW farm isn't a part of a program or a school. They are a sub-piece of the Botanical Garden, which is part of the School of Environmental Forest Sciences, which is then in the College of Built Environments. On top of that, the farm is only partially funded by the school, and a collection of the departments who use the classes for educational purposes pay for the salary of Perry's position. Wait, so who funds Ashling's position? The production manager's position is mostly funded by CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture, and this is a model that farms use to have another stream of revenue. How it works is the community buys a subscription in the beginning of the growing season, and then with that money, farmers can pay for labor and supplies. Then when it's harvesting season, the communities get weekly produce from the farm. But there's a slight inconvenience for the farm. Peak production is right when school gets out, June through September. When the most food is ready to be picked, most students are away from school. So the farm depends massively on the community volunteers in the area. But this is what volunteering is all about. This is what service is all about. And Ashling and I touched on this on our interview if you want to check it out. But there's an ethical way of working volunteers. You sprinkle in a little bit of education, a little bit of community sociability, and a sense of accomplishment towards a good cause. And there you have someone who is proud to be a volunteer, like I was and many other are. And hey, if you want to learn more about farming, the UW farm would love to have you over the summer. And not just the UW farm, but there's community farms all around Seattle who need volunteers. If you made it to the end of this video, share it with a friend you'd want to volunteer with, and I see a green future for you. Thanks for watching.